If you're looking to start a career in real estate, online job postings can be really confusing and sometimes actually misleading altogether. And if you're not reading these correctly, this can end up causing a lot of problems for you throughout the job search process. And after being in the industry for a while now myself and reading through a lot of these over time, I found some pretty consistent patterns that tend to come up over and over again within these, and I've also found some really reliable ways to figure out what's actually being said and to read between the lines within a job description. So to share my experience and make sure that you know what to look for going into this process, in this video we'll cover 3 things that you need to know when reading a real estate job posting to make sure you're able to interpret these correctly and you know the actions that you'll need to take based on this information. So the first thing I want to address here is related to a question I'm asked a lot by Academy members, especially those looking for their first job in the industry, and this is that the required experience listed in a job posting for an entry-level analyst role is almost always an exaggeration of what the company is actually expecting of the candidates that apply. A lot of people freak out when they see entry-level jobs requiring 1 to 3 years of experience in commercial real estate directly, and this can often prevent these people from applying for jobs altogether that they could have been competitive for if they threw their hat in the ring. And the reason why these experience requirements are often irrelevant for these roles is that the people who actually have 1 to 3 years of experience are applying for senior analyst or associate level positions, not entry-level jobs, meaning that the vast majority or all candidates that you'd be up against for these roles will have more or less the same amount of full-time real estate experience that you have, with very few exceptions. Companies often try and make entry-level positions look extremely selective to make these appear more desirable to candidates, but in practice, most companies that are looking to fill these roles are primarily searching for people who understand the basics of real estate finance and Excel, with internship experience being seen as a plus for those candidates that have it, but not necessarily a deal breaker for those candidates that don't. I would even go so far as to say that if you have every single experience qualification listed in a job description, you're probably not shooting high enough in your applications, and unless you're in a terrible job situation that you absolutely need to get out of right away, applying for roles that seem a little bit out of your league is actually a really good thing, and this can be one of the best strategies out there to advance your career quickly. The bottom line here is to aim high and let the company decide if you are ultimately qualified for a role, rather than voluntarily taking yourself out of the running for a job just because of an experience requirement that likely wouldn't end up mattering over the long term. Now, my next tip here goes back to the process of reading between the lines within these job postings, and this is to use specific keywords that are included within a job description to get a sense for the culture of the company and what your work-life balance would likely be in the role. If you see a job posting where a company describes itself as a fast-paced or dynamic or entrepreneurial firm, or you see job responsibilities that include meeting tight deadlines, managing multiple tasks at once, or assisting as needed across various parts of the organization, this can give you a lot of insight into the amount of hours that you'd be working in the role and the overall demands that would be placed on your time. When you see these keywords, this is usually a tip that the company is either small and trying to grow really quickly, or the general culture within the organization includes extremely high expectations of employees, either of which often results in long work weeks, requirements to juggle a variety of different tasks at the same time, and deadlines that can often feel unreasonable, requiring night and weekend work on a relatively regular basis. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, and in my experience, these can actually be some of the most valuable opportunities that you can have early on in your career, but just know that if you're looking for more of a work-life balance in your job and you want to be as efficient as possible with your applications, looking for these keywords up front can help save you a lot of time that you would have otherwise spent applying for these types of positions. And if you are looking for jobs that do offer a more manageable work schedule, there are also keywords out there that are positive indicators of a company's work-life balance, with terms like generous vacation time, comprehensive health insurance plans, paid family leave, and company 401k matching, all being much more indicative of an established company culture that's built to retain employees and keep people happy over the long term. Again, if you're young, you're primarily focused on your career, and you have very few responsibilities outside of work, you might find these types of roles a little bit boring, and you might not see the kind of career progression that you may have hoped for in positions like these. But if you're looking for a more stable work environment with a better work-life balance, and in most cases, a bigger team that you can lean on, allowing you to focus on only one or two specific job functions and to actually unplug when you do take a vacation, these types of keywords are what you'll want to look for. Now, the last thing I want to mention here is directly related to your application specifically and what you're actually doing with the information that's coming from these job descriptions. And this is to use the specifics of a job posting to your advantage when crafting your cover letters and your resume. In many cases, a job description is literally telling you word for word exactly what a company is looking for, which essentially makes this a cheat sheet that you can and should be using to customize your applications to highlight these specific things in your own skills and experience. For example, if the responsibilities of a job include conducting market research, this is a direct indicator that you should be adding any applicable market research experience that you have directly to your cover letter and to your resume to showcase your abilities to tackle these tasks. A lot of people only take this so far as to parrot back the terms that are used within a job description, essentially just listing these at the bottom of their resume in bullet point format, but this doesn't do anything to actually prove out your skills and often just makes it look like you're trying to cover up a lack of experience. So to go about this in a better way, if a job posting says that a company is looking for someone that's highly organized, with strong communication skills, and a high attention to detail, you should not just list these things on your resume, only saying that you have these traits, but instead you should be using past experiences from work or even school to show these things in your application without ever using these exact words. So for example, if you see in a job description that a company is looking for someone that can excel in a fast-paced work environment, instead of just writing out the words strong work ethic under a skills section on your resume, instead you should be taking the time to add specific details about specific projects that you worked on in the past that show how you've actually managed a demanding workload in practice, ideally in a way that quantifies your work and the outcomes you achieve. Listing personality traits and characteristics is a lot like adding proficient in Microsoft Office to your resume, and both of these things tell a hiring manager nothing about your actual qualifications and skills and might even make it look like you're exaggerating your experience. Ultimately, job postings can give you a lot of insights into the culture of a company that you'd be working for, how to portray yourself as the most attractive candidate possible, and which jobs you should actually be spending your time applying for in the first place, and especially if you're new to the industry and you're just starting to learn commercial real estate terminology, keeping these three things in mind during the application process is going to be extremely helpful to make sure you're targeting the right opportunities and putting your best foot forward. And if you want to learn more about different job search strategies and you want to make sure you have the technical skills you'll need to land an analyst or associate role at a top real estate investment, development, or brokerage firm, as always, make sure to check out our all-in-one membership training platform, Breaking the CRE Academy. A membership to the Academy will give you instant access to over 120 hours of video training on real estate financial modeling and analysis. You'll get access to hundreds of practice Excel interview exam questions, sample acquisition case studies, and you'll also get access to the Breaking the CRE Analyst Certification Exam, which covers topics like real estate pro forma and development modeling, commercial real estate lease modeling, equity waterfall modeling, and many other real estate financial analysis concepts that will help you prove to employers that you have what it takes to tackle the responsibilities of an analyst or associate at a top real estate firm. If you like this video and want to see more content on the channel on the commercial real estate job search or the application process, make sure to hit the like button and let me know. And let me know in the comments anything else you're struggling with when looking for job opportunities and any other related topics you'd like to see covered in the future. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to see more videos like this every single week, and I'll see you in the next video.